Good evening, everybody. Today I'm doing a trade recap and somewhat of a market review over the entire market day, but primarily just speaking on to what I learned from today and my big losses that I took on Nugget unnecessarily. Man, stings. Not gonna lie, it sucks being in this position, but it's something for me to learn from, and it was good that I learned it now because I've been on a pretty hot streak. Uh, I say so humbly, working to build my strategy and compounding my equity as I go, not really looking to make a certain dollar amount, what have you, but just trying to make the right trade after the right trade, getting a little bit better every day. And the gains have been adding up, not gonna lie. I've had a fantastic streak of, I think, up until today, it was 12 consecutive trading days in a row. They were all green. I virtually was perfect on through those 12 days. I had one loss that I can think of where I stopped out conservatively, but other than that, either I took off ideas that weren't working for small gainers, or everything else was a nice gain for what I'm looking for with the size that I've been trading. But today it was just a nasty unwind, and I kind of want to cover three important points regarding my losses today. I really made every mistake possible. It's more than a mistake, really. Every bad decision possible. And hindsight 2020, or just kind of reflecting on the happenings. Normally, this is the type of day that would have literally blown my account. I can think of four occasions just off the top of my head where I've been in similar situations and I lost two, three, four times it. So I'm thankful for the growth. But in the trades, it was really clear what I did wrong. And the 3 points that I want to emphasize is one, when you do have a big picture plan, and that's what I've been really focusing on heavily, not as much scalping anymore, even though I do still scalp, but having a bigger picture idea. I've seen some growth and progression in them, although I haven't trusted them and executed them as well as I would have liked. Point one, don't trade against your bigger picture plan. It's counterproductive, slapping your own face. What's the point of doing all this work, indicating all these levels, making these calls, blase, and then not even taking the positions on Nugget, for example. It had this big gap down, or starting to sell off in the morning after it gap down from the 150 level. I did think it was bull flagging on the daily chart, but that's one of those things I've kind of noticed once I see a pattern taking shape, one or two things are going to happen, and for me it becomes really clear. So I was thinking the 150, 151 level will hold and we get a pushback on highs, but I had been calling out for one of these monster pullback days for the last week and a half, 2 weeks or so. We've had one or two, but not this is what I was looking for. A 20 point, 25 points, just straight down, no breather for the most part. Did have a nice balance here intraday, but just even here 138 all the way down to 123. That's another 15 points. So the opportunity was there, and I had the right idea. These lines that you can see here, I actually drew them yesterday before the gap down. So um, I wouldn't have been in any rush, but these would have been profit levels had my pop idea or my buy idea off the 150 scoops not worked, and I would have been short. These would have been areas that I would have looked to see if support came in, and as you can see, it just hold all the way through. And I didn't even bother with these levels. Like I said, I did this all last night because I knew it could just flush if it broke these levels. And for some reason, I didn't think about all that. I was like, man, I missed my idea. I missed it 7 points, but forgetting that this is an ETF and it doesn't necessarily play by the same rules as other stocks. These things can go further than you think. So just reiterating point one: never trade against your plan. If you have a bigger picture plan, you need to either be trading that or maybe taking scalps if you're going to go opposite it. Like I had my whole idea was if the 150s fail after, and then especially after I saw it gapping down, short risking off 144ish, 145, or the next appropriate level. And that was I like to make my watch list all before 9 Eastern. So my idea would have been off these 145s at the time, and then revisit it. I would have moved it down to 142, but I didn't even take a short. I was long on it, and I I guess I was just trying to be the hero. I'm not exactly sure. I did have some good sales initially, which put me in more trouble than I should have been. I got out, had a nice scoop onto this wash, and I had some small profits. So here I was kind of break even, a little green with my initial long position. And then on this candle, I was faked out. I added, and it was premature. This is not normally somewhere that I would add, but I went ahead and put some more on. I was still with under my stop point, and I thought it might get a little bit more balance, especially since it moved as much as it did. Maybe we get a test higher before it flushed out, and I'd be able to get out nice gains, whatever. But we got this candle here, and I hate that it went to the 136 because had it been into the 135, I know I would have cut it because I like the whole $half marks. However, it wasn't, and then at this point I was like, okay, this is the position where I start to fight it. I called it out to my trading partner, and I the right thing would have been to go ahead and cut it immediately. I didn't, but I also knew I wasn't just gonna completely add, and blow myself up. I was gonna try to be patient and get out at a good time. So we had to flush. It started to bounce, and it really did look like it was gonna keep going, but it just crapped out. And from here, I knew I was in trouble. I was able to get one or two sales down to a fourth of a position because I had half a position at the time. So I was over my stop loss. The right thing, like I said, to be done would have here in this candle would have been just to stop out and reassess later. But from as best that I could have managed this one, I did. Got some buys close to the lows. I think 132. That was in this candle. 132.8. I think I got somewhere up in there. Um, I pretty much finished out in this 134 area. Of course, we got some more pop, but I mean, you never know. It was a 50-50 shot, so I cut my loss in half after managing it. Of course, four times of what it should have been anyway. But hey, what can I do? I mean, I'm never going to be perfect, but that brings me to my second point. Making sure you're respecting your loss and not getting in a trade trying to get a feel for it, winging it. Occasionally that works, but it's on these type of high flyers is more trouble than it's worth. So point two, I would say always have your stop loss identified, and whether that be hard stop or mental stop, like how I've been using, make sure you have that called out. And whether you only trade by yourself, you have a trading partner, whatever mechanism that it is that you need to use, always have that because it'll save you a world of hurt. I mean, it would have been so much easier for me to stop out like I had been doing all month. I did have, like I said, the one where it was a conservative stop. There was no need technically for me to stop, but I went ahead. I didn't feel comfortable with the position. Then immediately after, I re-entered and had one of my best gainers of the month. But I didn't do that here, and like I said, it was unfortunate because it got away from me. It's gonna happen sometimes, but that's point two. Make sure you have your stop loss identified. And thirdly, uh, the next point I want to mention is not adding to a loser. Uh, I know you hear it a lot and people say it, but that compounds the problem because then you start to get emotionally attached to your P&L, even if you don't have it on your screen. It just puts you in a world of hurt because you start to know it's working against you, and you start to just incorporate all these non-positive trading factors that will cause you to make the right decision. So here, it was kind of a revenge trade. I was like, okay, we're getting some perk off the lows up to 135. Just had a $4 pullback, and we're down 10, 14 points from yesterday. So maybe we'll get some more bounce, test this 137 level, even shoot back on highs, and might get a little squeezed. Then maybe tomorrow we get a flush. But this was also at about the same time where a spot had just shot through the 1320 level, and I kind of tried to be a hero on it. I didn't really give it much time to confirm. I did like this candle into the lows or into the EMA here. right back under the 1320. I thought it was gonna be the retest, but when this failed here, that's where I should have taken it off. And this was I just butchered it. I mean, the first loss was more than I wanted to be, but wasn't bad at all. I mean, it took out a decent chunk of my monthly gains, but I wasn't red by on the month by any means. Had still a nice little cushion, but after this second trade, which was also long, should have been short if anything, or just no trade at all. I lost about a buck on it total after just getting out, and the candles don't really tell the story. I mean, yeah, it's 15 minutes or so, but the way it moved, it wasn't very forgiving. Being on the wrong side of the trade, and it may have seemed worse than what it was, but shoulda, woulda, couldas, and just thinking about other trades and all that stuff, just kind of adding it slow bleeding me, and then eventually I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna do this again. Uh, like I said, big loss just because I wanted it to work earlier, kind of a revenge thing. So I started off with more than I normally would or had been. Um, but that's okay. I mean, I literally made every possible wrong decision today twice, and I didn't blow up. So after the dust settled, I'm really thankful for where I've been able to come, the development my trading partner and I have both been able to see. Um, so my stomach hurts in a sense, but I'm all right. I mean, I lost money, but I got better. I think it's a painful way to do it, but sometimes it's a reality check, and I think for long term, this day is really going to catapult me. I mean, I was really down, and I don't really consider myself an emotional guy, but I'm not afraid of emotions. But this is something trading is something I take pride in, and it really had me down for about an hour or two. I had to really kind of just think and clear my head a little bit, and had some good words from a trading partner and good feedback from my support system. And we're all in pretty much agreement that this is not a reflection of myself or where my trading is going. It's just bad decisions combined with an unfortunate situation, really, and it's just something maybe a few months, few weeks, few years from now, I'll look back and kind of be able to laugh about it over a steak or something. Where one time where I just shot myself in the foot unnecessarily. I mean, everybody's gonna have them. So the three things that I said make sure I'm focusing on with my big picture plans is trading with the bigger picture plan, or at most having a scalp if I'm not comfortable with where it is. Two, not adding to a loser, and then three, stopping out, especially when I have my core size on, not just a starter. It's a starter. You can be a little bit more flexible on it, but once you start to add shares in, you gotta do the right thing and take it off. So I'd like to encourage everybody, when you have a good trade, keep it even keel, do a high five really quickly, run around the house, what have you, then move on. It's just one step in the journey. When you have a really bad day like I did today, don't let it get you too down. Throw a water bottle, shout, whatever it is that you need to do for an hour. Come back, reset, because it's always going to be something that's going on. So it's about taking that next day, getting a little bit better than you did the previous day. And a great analogy that quote my trading partner dropped on me. In order to fill a bucket, it takes small stones and not big boulders. And that's a really profound statement there. And that's a it goes hand in hand with the trading journey, I believe, because big boulders they're never going to fit, and you shouldn't have any outsized gains or losses on your in your trading platform. If you do, you're doing something wrong. That it should be a pretty much calculated move up, if you will. It should be all in unison. So, like I said, I thank him for his time, and thank you guys for watching this. See you guys tomorrow. I gotta get back on the bike. I mean, you got punched in the mouth. What you gonna do? Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. So, gonna hit it hard tomorrow and just finish off the week strong. Again, thank you guys for checking it out. Like, comment, subscribe. All right, I'll see you guys later. Green or flat is the plan.